Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome to the first of hopefully many episodes of the modding of Isaac with Lyte. This first one, super simple. No Lua at all. We're just gonna get acquainted with the modding system, where you put the files, how you modify the files, and for a lot of you, this is all you're gonna need. But for those of you that are even crazier, I'm gonna make lots more episodes. Again, hopefully. So you've got Afterbirth installed, you come on in, Afterbirth Plus, mind you. You come in here, you've started up, you've gotten your various extra challenges, and you come in here, ooh, you've got a mods thing. If we just start a new run, everything seems perfectly normal. We got one new dude, we'll cover that later. And everything else seems normal. Then we come into our mods, and we press tab to activate. Now, that gives you a cursor and turns all of your mods on. Might not be all of them, I haven't done more than one mod yet. If you tap them again, it turns them off. On and off and on and off and on. And then if we go back, we go to our new run. Oh. It seems anything that loads new images needs something additional to make them actually show up. So, hold that just a second, and I'll be right back. And here we are, we've just reloaded the game, and the mod was already active, et voila, Lorem is born. Now, it seems a bit ridiculous that you need to restart the game to load these sorts of assets. But it seems to be the case. For the moment. Now, going forward, there will likely be a way around that such that when you activate the mod, it runs some Lua and it reloads some of the assets. We'll look into that in the future, but for now, if you get frustrated that you update your content but it doesn't update the assets, that's why. If, however, you modify XML files, when you unload or reload your mod, it'll be fine. Now, what sorts of things can you do with XML files? Well, you can change what item a character starts with and the characteristics of said item. So now, we've got good old Maggie here, starting with a Necronomicon. That's a 3-room charge. You're welcome, Northern Lion. And she just goes, BAM! Necronomicon, 3-room charge. She's got 1 charge already. So you came here not to listen to me talk. You want to see how to do it yourself. So I'm gonna show you. And here we are with a nice clean desktop. We're not gonna be going back into the game. We don't need it. We're modders, we're programmers. We make stuff out of almost nothing. And none of it's really related to the game itself. It's mostly just text and pictures and who knows. But the first step into all of this, you need to get to your game folder, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and in there won't be resources, there might be anti-birth, but what you really need is this tools folder. This tools folder holds all the interesting things you're going to need. When you're going to look into playing with Lua to do actual scripting, Lua Docs brings up a web page that goes through all of the documentation you're probably going to need. You might need a little more guidance. That's why I'm here. But what you desperately need is this resource extractor. When you run this resource extractor, it'll open up a shell thing. You'll hit enter. It'll go through a long list of extracting this, extracting that, blah, 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 and then it'll be done. And then you go back and you'll have these 3 resources folders. In here are all of the resources necessary for the original Binding of Isaac Anti-Birth. So all the things you might need to know about how almost anything works is in here. Haven't looked into the scripts just yet, but XML and images, they're all here. Somewhere. And that somewhere is really the key to this entire process. Where do you find any given thing? Well, first you start off by spelunking. And you just take a look around and go, okay, so we got costumes. What are costumes? Ooh, I know challenges. Ooh, items. We remember we wanted to do something with items, but before you touch this, do not touch this file. No matter what you do, don't touch this file. Because this is the good, pure, untouched Afterbirth Plus. Clean, untouched. Leave it that way. So what we need is a new fancy folder for our mod. Well, none of this stuff tells you where to put it. Thank you, Reddit, for telling us where to put our mods. What do you need to go to, particularly on a Windows machine. I don't know anything about on Linux or on Mac, but on a Windows machine, I'll look into the Mac and Linux. Don't worry. You go to your user folder and then your documents folder. And then in that is a My Games folder. And inside of that are several Binding of Isaac Afterbirth folders. And the one you want is Binding of Isaac Afterbirth mods. So let's come in here. See, we've got 1, 2, 3. And we've got the other Isaac stuff as well. But you go into the mods folder, and then in here, to make a mod, let's make a mod. Let's do it. How quickly can we make a mod? New folder. My new mod. Congratulations, you've made your first mod. That's it. All done. You can go home. Okay, fine. Maybe we want to do more than just make the mod. Maybe we want the mod to actually do something. So in this folder, you don't just grab these files and drop them. It doesn't work. What you need is a resources folder. And spell it properly. Resources folder. Just like this resources folder. Now, in here, you can drop whatever it is you want to modify. You don't need all the files. If you're not going to change all the files, don't put them over there. It just bloats up your... See what I did there? Bloats up your mod. Just take the things you need. So we want to change an item, we grab the item. Oh yeah. We also want to change the players. We had Lorem. Lorem started with the Necronomicon. So let's grab the players as well. I'm moving between drives, so it's always going to copy. If you need to copy on the same hard drive, make sure you hold down, I think it's Control. Yeah, because Alt makes a link. Control, Shift. It's either Shift or Control. Can never remember. Probably Shift. Possibly Control. Either way, you just drag it over and copy if you're on different drives like me. Then there's one other folder that we're probably going to want. It's up here in your graphical effects. It's in your user interface, and then it's in your main menu. Here, you've got your character menu image. Now, if you want to use this file, you can't just drop it in. Don't just drop it here. You have to keep the structure the same. So where was that again? So we're in our resources. It's in GFX. So we make ourselves a GFX folder. GFX. Bam. And then inside GFX, it was user interface because we're changing how they interact with the game. So new folder, GFX. Wait, no, we're in GFX. UI. Bam. And then in UI, there's boss. Oh, wait, no, boss is not what we want this time. What we want is main menu. So new folder, main menu. Case shouldn't matter, but try to match it anyway. And then character menu. Character menu, kerplunk. Whoops, I missed. In there, kerplunk. Here we are, we have the character menu. Now we're going to do these one by one. I just wanted to get them all in one place such that we know what we're working with. First thing we're going to want to do is change that pesky Necronomicon. No one wants that to be a 6-room charge. So you go into your items, and then you open it up with whatever method you have of opening it. It doesn't matter. XML is XML. You can open it in Notepad. Regular old Notepad is fine. It's how I learned. Notepad++ is kind of cool. If you're really fancy, you can open it with Dreamweaver. And yeah, I have all sorts of things that I play with on Dreamweaver. Let's just go there. Normally for web design, but webs use XML and HTML and all sorts of MLs. So many markup languages. And then you're in here. It's all nice and color-coded, nice, and let's just say nice. It's a big long list of all of the different types of items. We've got passives, we got familiars, we've got actives around here somewhere, and then you just search through this list to find the one that you want to change. So I know that the Necronomicon is number 35. So I just go to number 35 in the list. If you don't know what the number is, you just look for the name. They're all in here. Just do Control F, you're good to go. So it's 35, max charges of 6. Oh. Travesty, 3. Save, Congratulations! You have changed the Necronomicon from a 6-room charge to a 3-room charge. That's all it takes. If you want to change what it looks like, hey look, there's a ping for that. Now, it knows where in the GFX to find that. If you want to find it, you just come back into your GFX type area and go, well, where are we going to find that? And you go through, probably in items, collectibles, and then you go to 35, and there it is. If you want to change the Necronomicon, you bring this guy over into your mod, in your GFX, and then you make an items folder, you make a collectibles folder, you bring this guy in, and you change it. Make him look however you like. But we're not doing that this episode. We're just making him a 3-room charge. We've done it. Let's close my previous test things. Okay, so we've done the item. But to test the item, we don't want to go in and have to just find it. Who knows if you're ever going to find it? So we cheat. We go into the players. We open that up again with whatever you've got. Now, I'll give you a warning here. Don't try to make a brand new character out of nothing. You can't just come down here at the bottom of Apollyon and just be like, oh, I'll make character ID number 16. Crashes the game. It's not built for it. However, you can replace a character completely. And so you pick out your least favorite character. Everyone hates Maggie. And go, okay, let's give Maggie the Necronomicon. Do you remember that number? 35. So now Maggie has the Necronomicon, but that's not a very good practice, in my personal opinion. I like to leave the original there, make a new copy, and then comment out the previous. So you open, exclaim, and then 2 dashes, and then to close it, 2 dashes, and close it. That makes this a comment. It completely ignores it, but it's still there for people. So you have the original Maggie there for reference, and then your newfangled Maggie gets number 35. Now here you can change their name, you can change their picture, you can change all sorts of things. However, none of these are in the user interface. I don't know where all of these show up. Like this name, I don't know where that will call them lorem. I do, however, know that these other images are for transitions and lorem versus the hush, lorem versus Isaac. That's where it uses these images, but not on the intro screen. So we've got this. Always make sure you save. Save often, save always, and save somewhere off-site. Always have backups. Your computer will die someday, and you don't want to lose it all. So always back up off-site. Well, at least onto a flash drive or another computer somewhere in the cloud. Who knows, but somewhere. Okay, so we've made the Necronomicon a 3-room charge. We've made Maggie carry the Necronomicon. Will it show up as her carrying it in the menu? No, and you'll see why in a moment. So we come in here, we go back into our mod, and GFX, main menu, character menu.ping. Now this, again, you can edit it with whatever image editor you want. So long as it can handle a .png file, you don't need Photoshop. GIMP is perfectly fine, perfectly free. I might download it and start using it for future things. I'll try to keep it as friendly to people who want to do this for free as possible, but all of it you can do for free. I just happen to have this because I like it and I can afford it and all that, but you don't need Photoshop. I just like it. And so we had the previous one open here. This is like a cooking show. We have it open from earlier. And here are all of the images that are used for this Who Am I screen. You can modify any of them. The Who Am I itself. You can change all of the images for all of the characters, including their lock images, but you cannot lock Isaac because Isaac cannot be locked. But you've got the chests for people, you've got Azazel poking out of the box, And all the way down here at the bottom, you've got a polygon. Couple of random things at the bottom as well, but you don't need to worry too much about those. All we really cared about was this Magdalene right here. And so all you need to do to change it is just get the text somehow. I just went in and stole letters from every other character. And then all you do is you take it, copy it, paste it on in, line it all up, make sure it's centered. Nothing triggers people more than things being off-centered. And then what we're going to do is not delete the original Maggie. Like I said, waste not, want not. So instead of deleting it, what we're going to do is cut it. Oh, wait, we're still on lorem. We're going to cut it, and then we're going to paste in place such that it doesn't go anywhere, and then make it invisible. Et voila, we have lorem. Now, in Photoshop, you want to do some sort of export or save for web thing that will make it a nice, clean, empty ping. Nice and simple. Now mine is accustomed to a better resolution than this, so it's hard to see exactly what's going on. But that will make a nice clean ping. You save it over the one that already exists, and voila, you will have lorem as the text. But you saw at the beginning of the episode, this doesn't load if the mod wasn't running. We're going to need something else to reload this asset. I don't know if we'll be able to do it in Lua. Hopefully we will. Of course we're going to be able to. But that is not for today. This is if it's just a nice cosmetic thing for yourself. If you're always going to have it running, it'll always show up. It'll be nice. And that's all you really need to have what I showed you at the beginning. A 3-room charge Necronomicon, a character with a different name that starts with it. I'm going to be using lorem here quite a bit for this series. I've got an idea for an item to go with them, but I have no idea if it can be done. And lorem ipsum, it's stand-in text for when you don't have a really good name for it, and it might stick. We'll see how it goes. If you have anything that you would love to see modded, if you think this is way too basic, good. Future episodes will likely be covering the Lua type modding. This sort of simple asset modding has been available pretty much this whole time, but it wasn't nearly as accessible to the average person. But just knowing where to put those assets will hopefully help somebody. But that's all I've got for this episode. So I'll see you in the next episode of the Modding of Isaac with Lyte.